distinguished guests, MPs, Rabbanim, life members, founders, committee members, past and present, members and guests, welcome. As the president of the Sephardi Association of Victoria, it gives me great pride to welcome you all on the joyous occasion of our 60-year anniversary. A special welcome to the association's founders and life members, to past president Joanne Levy, Rowena and Benny Cohen, life member Jacques Bijayo, past president Paul Berman, and past president Gad Ben-Meir, the third president who served 2 terms, his first in 1972. It is very special to have you all here this afternoon. As I look across the room, I see so many from community groups, and I thank you for attending today, as well as the friendship you have shown our community. Our synagogue represents the exiled Jews who lived in the Middle East, Africa, India, and Asia. Despite many of us coming from different countries with different customs, different tunes and practices, we've all come together here in this centre as a cohesive, warm, and welcoming community. The customs of the synagogue are Sephardi, but we welcome all Jews, irrespective of their background and heritage. There have been Sephardi Jews in Australia since the First Fleet. However, there wasn't a synagogue or institution built in Australia till the 1960s. It wasn't until the mid-20th century, with the arrival of Middle Eastern Jews, did the Sephardim come together with vision and purpose to build a community for future generations. From 1948, almost 1 million Jews were expelled from Arab lands, including from Egypt, Iran, Yemen, Algeria, Iraq, and so many other countries. Many of our members are from the Middle East and were forced to leave or flee. And like my family, they had to leave everything behind, start a new life in a new country. And we're truly thankful to have been able to migrate to Australia, coming in as refugees. The Jews of the Middle East were predominantly well-educated, spoke multiple languages. For example, my dad was born in Egypt, educated at both English and American schools and university, and could fluently speak English, Arabic, Hebrew, French, Spanish, and Italian. The majority of the Jews expelled from Arab lands went to Israel. Many went to the UK, France, and America. But some came to Australia, settling here in Melbourne, in Sydney, and in Adelaide, and began assimilating into Australian society. However, those Sephardi Jews, including my family, struggled to fit into the Jewish community, which is predominantly Ashkenazi, both here and in Sydney. They craved a space to pray and socialise that was familiar to them, and it is thanks to Maurice Levy and Max Menahem, who were instrumental in the Sephardi Association of Victoria coming into fruition. And on the 1st of November 1965, a draft constitution was submitted and the first committee was elected, with President Maurice Tueta, Vice President Ken Bekor, Vice President Anwar Jarari, Secretary Johnny Matza, Treasurer Eli Ben-Mayor, with committee members Leo Angel, Maurice Levy, Vivian Levy, Nissim Marshall, Isaac Sabto, Richard Saleh, Edward Sueri, and Max Menahem. The objectives of the association were to build a synagogue and to form an Australian Federation of Sephardim. That year, in 1965, Yamin Noraim Sephardi services were hosted in a room at Moorabbin Synagogue, conducted by Maurice Gamil and Isaac Sabto. And for years after, they rented rooms and halls to pray in. And finally, in 1974, thanks to the generous financial support of Albert Yehuda and the architectural know-how from Albert Bassat, they finally had their own synagogue in Malvern. In the 1990s, wanting to be closer to the hub of Jewish life, the committee made a decision to relocate. They fundraised the monies to build this beautiful synagogue designed by Ben Alexander, and we have been here since 1994. I think the synagogue's founders would be delighted to know that in our 60th year, We're still praying with our distinct tunes, having lunches with our foods, and still hosting events that honours our traditions. I am proud of our community because, in essence, we have maintained our identity on three levels: as Sephardim, as Jews, and as Australians. Our tunes are different to the Ashkenazi, and we pride ourselves on parents and elders teaching children our tunes so they can be passed down from generation to generation. We don't speak Yiddish, but rather you'll hear conversations starting in French, finishing in English, lots of Hebrew, and also a smattering of Arabic cursing. We're loud, we're passionate, and we're fiercely proud of our heritage. It is an honour and a privilege to be the synagogue president and to be standing here today as we celebrate 60 years of the Sephardi Association of Victoria. As many of you know, I never had any intentions or desire to be the president. But in 2018, when the previous executive leadership encouraged us to sell the building due to the decline in membership and monies, I knew there had to be a better option. Selling this building did not respect or honour the founders, the committees, the volunteers who dedicated their time over the past 54 years. And what about the donations they had made to build and keep this centre going? For 54 years, they'd put their heart and soul into this community. Selling the building would have erased their dedication, their legacy, their contribution. To me, selling was equivalent to failure. And we would have been in the same place as we had been in 1965 with no synagogue and praying in rented rooms. I believed that this community deserved better. I had volunteered for the synagogue for years, and the Sephardi stubbornness in me was not prepared for us not to try harder. And so I stepped up and nominated as president at the 2019 AGM. As a new president, there were a number of additional challenges I had to deal with, in addition to the financial issues. It was not easy, and these challenges were complex and difficult to address. However, this community is blessed with a number of smart, committed, and business and community-minded members, including our Treasurer, Adi Cohen, our Vice President, Stephen Stern, as well as Markel Miller, David Brecker, Reuben Franklin, and my wonderful husband, Joanne Levy, who all stepped up to the board, working cohesively together so we could start afresh. And we welcomed Rabbi Benji Kessler back to lead our services and provide rabbinical leadership to our Kehillah. With the rabbinical team and committee now working harmoniously together, the committee implemented savvy ways to address our financial issues, and we also created a warm, welcoming and inclusive environment to pray and socialise in, and strategies were considered for our community's longevity. Now, there were several paths we could have taken to avoid selling this building and addressing financial concerns. We chose to create a charity with tax deductibility. So not only were we helping people, but the charity allowed us to fundraise and apply for grants. I debated about talking about the past. But as I was looking through photos of our community from 10 years ago, I saw a synagogue in serious decline with an aging membership, low attendance at our events, no new members, and a building that was not well maintained. We wouldn't be here if we hadn't had that dark past. And like the story of Joseph, who was betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, and kept in a dungeon, he rose to greatness in Egypt and saved Jewish families, including his own from famine. Would he have been the same person without the pains from the past? Should the bad parts of his story not have been included in the Torah? I don't think so. For that reason, I've included a mention of the past today, because without those challenges, we would not have become what we are today. The difficulties have shaped us so we could grow into the vibrant community we have become. I want to thank and acknowledge the members who stayed and showed unwavering commitment. You paid your membership, you donated, and most importantly, you did not walk out. This place mattered to you, and it's your dedication to wanting to rebuild that gave us the strength to keep going. For that, I'm deeply thankful to each and every one of you. Now, we're not the only synagogue to have faced decline, but the synagogues who have revitalised did so by employing an experienced, full-time outreach rabbi. We didn't have the funding to take that path, and instead we revitalised through us, the community. I need you all to take a moment and appreciate how extraordinary this is. Without a full-time outreach rabbi, without a benefactor, we've gone from the brink of collapse to a thriving community in 5 years. And what we've achieved is nothing short of miraculous. I cannot stress this enough. I want to acknowledge a few people because without them, we wouldn't be here today celebrating our 60-year milestone. First, our treasurer, Abraham Cohen, who has been instrumental in addressing our financial issues. His success with fundraising and streamlining our processes, as well as his 35 plus years of banking expertise and knowledge, has been key in helping this community find financial stability. AB is a true blessing to this community. We're so fortunate to have him as the treasurer. I'm deeply grateful for his leadership, advice, wisdom, and ideas over the past few years. We're also blessed to have Stephen Stern as our vice president. With board experience, so much knowledge, Stephen has been an incredible support to me. And we are thankful for his dedication to our community, as well as his leadership in managing our new constitution. A big thank you to Lara Cohen, who has managed the secretary role for 4 years before recently stepping down. And now we have Izzy Cohen managing this role. With no board experience, these young women have each managed an executive role in a professional and competent manner. They are both exceptional, and I'm truly thankful for their wonderful support to myself. And a special thanks to my right-hand man, my son Joshua Levy, who's been the most incredible, positive and steady support to me, as well as to this community. I don't know what I would have done over the past few years without his help, with the schlepping, the building maintenance and odd jobs, our charity, Fossey, the event management, and being able to brainstorm ideas with him. Thank you to all our incredible volunteers who give of their time to make this place so wonderful. We're truly thankful to each and every one of you, not just for the past 6 years whilst I've been president, but for the past 60 years. There are too many to name, but I do want to acknowledge a few and thank the incredible contribution of Maurice Gamil, Isaac Sabto, Kathy Shashua, Johnny Matza, and Yaakov Dahan. And for many years, Benny Cohen served as our Baal Tokier. His heartfelt and powerful shofar blowing drew people from across the community, inspiring all who heard it. We are blessed with an incredible, dedicated rabbinical team under the leadership of Rabbi Benji Kessler. Thank you to our rabbi, Rabbi Kessler, to our Baal Korer, Yoel Meyer, and his sons who assist with the services. Thank you, Moishi, Kovi, and Avromi. Thank you to the charismatic Avi Elimelech, who's not only an outstanding gabbai, but welcomes the men with a big smile and a warm hug. Before I became president, we had dreams and aspirations of what we wanted our community to be. We wanted so much. And thanks to the current committee and the rabbinical team, all of those wishes and more have come to fruition. We have launched Yahad Saviv, open to all, but steeped with Sephardi traditions. Yahad Saviv is all about fun, togetherness, and friendships for youth, teens, and young adults. We're aiming to run camps as well as subsidized trips to Israel within the next few years for our teens and young adults. We're now affiliated with the Rosh Chodesh Women's Circle, hosting wonderful events for women that encourage friendship as well as learning. We have a Shabbat Kids Club, teen program, young adults program, Shiurim, and we plan to launch more learning programs, a bar and bat mitzvah program, as well as learning for our young ones aged 8 to 13 soon. Through Fossey, Friends of Sassoon Yehuda, we show care for those in need with phone calls, visits, care packs, and free kosher meals. And soon we'll be expanding our Chesed Rivka program to cook and deliver nutritious meals to new mums for free. And now we have the Sephardi Heritage Museum of Australia, the only museum dedicated to Sephardi culture and heritage to educate and share our stories, not just to the Jewish community, but to the wider community. We've transformed into the thriving community we wanted, and we're building an even stronger future together. A big thank you to our wonderful MC, Jack Levi, also known as comedian Elliot Goblet, whose wonderful mum, Marcel, was a living treasure of our community. Thank you to our talented musician, Yuval Ashka, for such beautiful music. Our guest speaker, David Southwick MP, who's been so supportive of our community. And to the volunteers who helped set up for today's event, and CSG for keeping us safe. I want to thank everyone who has attended today. I want to thank the members, the volunteers, our community. You are what makes us great. Mazel Tov and Mabruk to us on this incredible achievement, our 60-year anniversary. Thank you.